The welterweight title is on the line this Saturday night at UFC 315 as Belal Muhammad puts up the title against Jack Della Maddalena. Now, I know what you're thinking. It should be Shavkat Rakhmonov. It should be Ian Machado Gary. But guess what? You cannot count out JDM. You just can't count him out. Okay? Maddalena is a serious fighter. We're going to get into all that. We're going to give you some of the predictions, high level predictions, big fight predictions for this Saturday night. Also, we're going to look at what happened this past weekend at UFC Des Moines. We've had several weeks now with crowds, with fans, not at the Apex Center, and it's been very exciting. Kansas City, Des Moines, all that. And we got some topics to get into. What's going on with Hamza versus Dricus du Plessis? We'll get into these topics and more next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA Podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege. Privilege.
What up? What up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the TC MMA podcast. And we got several things to discuss today. We got to look at what happened this past weekend. Hamza Chimaev is in the news. Isn't he always? And then we'll get into some predictions for UFC 315 this Saturday night. Now, I want to warn you ahead of the show here that my voice is waning. Been sick all for the last 5-6 days. So trying to hold on with the voice, but just want to let you know that in case the voice goes in and out throughout the show, you kind of know what's going on. But listen, we shall overcome. We shall prevail. So first, last night was a wild night, ladies and gentlemen, at UFC Des Moines. I mean, we got several great fights. The night started out with a bang, as you would expect. The Iowa fans were ready to go from the very beginning. But when you get into the main card, you had several finishes, but we're going to focus on two. None bigger than De Ridder versus Bo Nickel. Rainier De Ridder, that is. What did we tell you? That he was going to come in there and beat Bo Nickel. Okay. Did I know it was going to be a finish? Not really. But when these two get in the octagon, anything can happen. And listen, Rainier De Ridder was 19-2 coming in, and this is the way the fight unfolded. Oh, Bo takes a knee. He's in trouble here. Oh, baby. Oh, boy. Bo's backed up against the fence. Oh, he takes another knee to the body. He's not liking those knees at all. Yeah, he's covering up the stomach now. And De Ridder's pounding away. Bo tries to throw a right, but he's in trouble here. He takes a left. Oh, and he takes a knee up top, and that's it. Bo Nickel goes down, and it's over. What'd I tell y'all, baby? What did I tell y'all? And this guy, I try to tell y'all in the lead up to this fight that this guy is a bigger problem than Bo Nickel. This guy, what is he, 20-2 now? 20-2? This guy's going to be a problem. And Bo Nickel took 3, 4, 5 knees until finally one landed up top. And he just took a knee, and that was it. The ref jumped in. Total strikes. Well, it's not even caught up yet, but roughly 65-30. Head strikes. Really not that many significant strikes and head strikes. I mean, it just came down to a lot of control time and things like that. But finally, the knees ended up finishing him. And Bo Nickel backs off here. You see the replay. Boom. He's taking right after right, and then he lands a right and a left. But you could just see that Bo Nickel wanted no part of it. Oh, it was a knee to the body. I thought it was up top. Okay. Boom. Yeah. Right to the sternum area. So forget about it. Rainier De Ridder finishes Bo Nickel, a guy who was trying to call out Hamza Chimaev, all this type of stuff. He ain't ready. Bo Nickel's going to fall to 7-1. Rainier De Ridder, 20-2, middleweight division. UFC Des Moines. Yeah, so if you wonder why I'm kind of excited to Ritter won, is because Bo Nichols calling out Hamzat Chimaev, to me, is not even on that level right now. And last night proved it. But what it also proved is that we have a serious contender in Rainier de Ritter. I can easily see Hamza taking the title from DDP and Rainier de Ritter working his way up to a title fight. And that could be a banger, ladies and gentlemen, because de Ritter is a big middleweight. I mean, that guy is a big, fierce middleweight. Now, another big finish last night was D-Rod versus Ponzinibbio. This fight was a banger. It was just a slugfest. Check this out. Ooh, and D-Rod takes a kick to the body and returns one. Ponzinibbio lunges forward with a jab. And both guys kind of settling in this third round. I mean, it's a crucial third round. Ooh, and a nice left by D-Rod dropped Ponzinibbio. And the ref steps in quick. Ponzinibbio can't believe it. The ref steps in quick. Oh, yeah, and Ponzinibbio gets up, and he's trying to argue it, and he stumbles all the way to the fence. So that's going to take away from his argument. He's still not happy about it, but he stood up and stumbled all the way to the fence. So no one's going to argue the stoppage now. D-Rod on top of the octagon fence. He's going crazy. And that's a big win for him and for us. Gets us back to 500 on the night. 5-5 with 2 fights to go. D-Rod's going to move to 19-5. And at this point, it's 34-27 in head strikes, 48-40 in significant strikes. So very close fight, and a fight that would have come down to this third round. And the knockdown probably wins him the round in the fight anyway. But, here we see the replay. Beam! Woo! Big left hand, and before he can come in and do anything more, the ref jumps in right away. Yeah. Yeah, and it's the second time that Ponzinibbio went down in this fight. Last time was the first round, and we're seeing the exchange again. Beam. Yeah. So D-Rod gets the win, man. Big, big win for him. He's going to move to 19-5 here, welterweight division, UFC, Des Moines. Yeah, and there were several other big finishes last night, but that's one we wanted to focus on. Those are 2 big ones. In the main event, we fell there. We took a chance on Davis and Figueiredo, right? Don't invite Brazil to the party. But Brazil went down last night as was it second or third round? Second round injury, I believe, that led to the stoppage, but that was all Corey Sandhagen. The guys both had their legs tied up, and it just Figueiredo got the worst end of it at the end of the day. So Corey Sandhagen wins. He holds serve at number 4. And that's the way it went down last night. Coming off 13-1 last week, we went 6-6. See how you never know how the predictions are going to go. 6-6 last night. Now 7-8 on the year in the main event. So really struggling there. We're not struggling overall, but we're struggling in the main event. That's for sure. Where the predictions are much tougher. So before we get into UFC 315, which is just going to be a banger this Saturday night, and some of those predictions, first let's get into a little Hamzat Chimaev. Darren Till will reunite with Hamzat Chimaev for DDP UFC title fight. So in a chat with Bloody Elbow, he said, "This is Darren Till. He asked me to come over and help with the strike and stuff. So I said I would. If the stars align for that, I'd love to get over there, over for that. I spend loads of time in Dubai. My mate Brent is out there. If he's so prepared for a fight like that, I don't see how DDP beats him." Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people like myself are the same. If Hamza is fully prepared and he is healthy, he wins that fight. But DDP is so good, you can't have anything go wrong. You can't be 90%. You got to be 100%. You got to be feeling good, right? You can't have any nicks or anything like that. And sometimes those things happen going into a fight. And you see a guy lose and you just think he lost, but you find out later, well, he was injured or he had this problem or that problem. You can't have any of that against DDP or he's going to expose you. So Darren Till is going to be training with Hamza. I don't know if that's really a big deal. I mean, Darren Till did have a great fight against Duplessis back in the day. So, I mean, it's never bad to have a solid training partner, but I just think the new team that Hamza is with is going to have him ready. He looked great against Robert Whittaker. Um, there were several fights there that he didn't look great, right? Maybe he was overtraining. And this happens in sports, right? You overtrain. You train so hard that you don't allow yourself time to recover. And that's why he's getting sick and all those type of things. Cross your fingers. But we haven't had any problems since he's been with the new team. And hopefully it stays that way. So we're expecting news for Hamzat Chimaev and the title fight, you know, sometime soon. And at this point, we're just waiting. So as we jump into UFC 315, there is some news over the last few days. I think I saw it this morning. It was Joel Alvarez is out. So let me see if they got this updated yet. Nope, they still got Joel Alvarez there. So we're waiting on a replacement for that fight. He's fighting he was supposed to fight Benoit Saint Denis. So I don't know if there's been a correction yet. But as you work your way down right now, starting out with the early prelims, and I think we got all these fights done. You got Brad Katona taking on Almakhan, right? Canada versus Kazakhstan. Almakhan's a slight favorite at like 185, so you know he's going to come in and do his thing. Then in the middleweight division, you got Marc-Andre Barriault versus Bruno Silva. And Bruno Silva hasn't looked as good as he, you know, back in the day, he went toe-to-toe with Alex Pereira. Didn't really come close to beating him, but went the distance. And you're thinking, okay, this guy's for real. But then he suffered some defeats and had some tough times after that. He just hasn't looked like the fighter we thought he would be. As you jump into the prelims, you got Navajo Sterling taking on Ebo Urslan. That should be a good one. New Zealand versus Croatia. Sterling 6-0 right now. But you see these guys undefeated, and as they climb the ladder, at some point it seems like they get beat, unless they're really good like a Hamza. So we'll see how good Sterling is. He's got to keep climbing the ladder. In the light heavyweight, you got Modestas Bukauskas versus Ian Kudalaba. Lithuania versus Moldova. Women's flyweight, you got Jessica Andrade versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. So you got some big fights here. Mike Mallett, Charles Radke. But where we're going to pick things up is in Fight 4, women's flyweight division. You got Alexa Grasso versus Natalia Silva. And, you know, this should be a banger of a fight. I mean, this fight should be a good one. So let's waste no time and dive into this right now. In the women's flyweight division at UFC 315, you got Alexa Grasso taking on Brazilian Natalia Silva. So this is Mexico former champ versus Brazil. I love it. I love it. Grasso 16-4, Silva 18-5. Grasso 1 inch taller to 5'5". She's 31, Silva's 28. So both right in the prime, although you could say Grasso's like right there, right at the perfect age. Grasso stands right-handed, Silva stands left-handed. Silva slightly more active, 5.2 significant strikes per minute to 4.2. So you're looking at over 15 minutes, about 15 to 20 significant strike advantage for Silva. Ground game really non-existent for both. I mean, we know Grasso can finish you on the ground if she finds an opportunity, but both are trying to stand and strike. Now, Grasso, 54% takedown defense, not great. Lost to Valentina Shevchenko last time out. Got dominated 8 takedowns to 1, so Shevchenko finally figured it out. Before that, they fought to a draw, and Shevchenko had 4 takedowns in that one as well. That's why the takedown defense has come way down, then give up 8 in the second. In the first fight, Grasso won. Not sure how. She trailed. Oh, that's right. She won by submission. I forgot about that. But she trailed 4 takedowns to none, and then 87-59 on the feet, and got that quick finish really out of nowhere in the 4th round. Prior to that, she was on a roll, right? Beating Vivian Araujo, Joanne Calderwood, aka Joanne Wood, Macy Barber, Ji Yeon Kim. So she went on a roll and then ran into Shevchenko for 3 fights. Silva, on the other hand, beat Jessica Andrade last time out in dominant fashion, 117-50 in significant strikes. Beat Vivian Araujo as well by decision. Now in the Grasso fight, there was a lot of significant strikes. In this fight, Silva slowed the pace down, just 38 to 26 on the feet. Beat Andrea Lee, Victoria Leonardo, Teresa Bleda. So that they're both kind of looking similar. If you just take away the Shevchenko fights for Grasso, and that's got to give her some type of advantage, you would think. Silva though, 91% takedown defense, so she's not getting taken down, and she may decide to take this thing to the ground. That's how Shevchenko beat her. So is Silva a better striker? I don't know. I just know she's younger and more active. So now Grasso's going from a fight where you're taking on the champ, the former champ, whatever you want to label her, Valentina Shevchenko, who's being aggressive with the takedowns, had like 16 takedowns in 3 fights. Now she's going up against a striker, kind of more her angle. And Grasso usually steps up to the plate in terms of significant strikes, but the difference here for me is that even though I know Grasso could win the fight, I believe Natalia Silva is going to win, in my opinion. I just think she's slightly better on the feet. This is a perfect matchup between the two, and then you factor in Brazil, right? Don't invite Brazil to the party, especially a pay-per-view party. It's not usually going to go well. And because it's a close fight, I'm going to lean towards Natalia Silva here to get the job done. But those 5 losses on her record make me nervous. But that was when she was in her early to mid 20s. Now she's in peak form at 28 years old. So I look for her to win, mainly with the stand-up game. We'll see if she wants to take it to the ground. Probably not a great idea because that's not where she usually takes the fight. And she wins on the feet. So either way it goes, I think she wins to move to 19-5, in my opinion. Women's flyweight division, UFC 315. Yeah, so just expect a good one there. I mean, Mexico versus Brazil. The crowd's going to be amped up for this. You're always going to have Mexican and Brazilian fans. It doesn't matter if it's in Canada. It doesn't matter if it's in the USA. It doesn't matter if it's overseas. They always find a way to get there. So I'm highly intrigued by that matchup and just expecting to see a good one because it's one that can go either way. I mean, it really is. It's one that, Natalia Silva is a more than a 2-1 favorite, but Grasso's coming off fighting for the title. I mean, it's not like she's a slouch. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, as we work our way up into the bantamweight division, you got Jose Aldo. Don't invite Brazil to the party. He's 32-9, taking on Zahabi from Canada. So you know which way the crowd's going on this one, especially with it being in Montreal. So, this is going to be a big one. And the crowd is going to be amped up for Aman Zahabi. But Aldo is a legend. He's been around the game forever. Let's jump into this one right now. In the bantamweight division at UFC 315, Jose Aldo is back, and he's taking on Aman Zahabi, who's 12-2. Aldo, longtime veteran Brazilian, 32-9. He's 1 inch shorter at 5'7". He's 38 now, but Zahabi's 37. Aldo, 1 inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Aldo, 3.6 significant strikes per minute. Zahabi, 4.1. No big deal there. The takedown game is sort of non-existent for both of these guys, but they're calculated. Aldo, 92% takedown defense. Zahabi, 83. So they don't need to land takedowns, and they can stop them, and they can, win the fight on the feet. Aldo lost to Mario Bautista by split decision last time out, 51-49 in significant strikes. So he's got to pick up the pace. In the previous fight, he looked good against Jonathan Martinez, 77-52 significant strikes. Won by decision, lost to Merab Dvalishvili, again, very slow on the feet. Somehow beat Rob Font by decision. He got outstruck by 63 significant strikes, and he beat Pedro Munoz. So he's still 3-2 in the last 5. Zahabi beat Pedro Munoz by decision. Javid Basharat decision. Aor Kalane KO, and Ricky Tercio's decision. But listen, yeah, Zahabi's good, but this is a step up. And he hasn't lost since 2019. But this is Jose Aldo. I'm not going against him right now. Yeah, he's 38, but this is a quick division. He's still quick, right? And he's still got the takedown defense, and he's got 41 fights in his career, and he's Brazilian. Yeah, I like Jose Aldo to pull this thing out and check Aman Zahabi right here in a levels fight. Aldo wins by decision on significant strikes. Expect a lot of activity You can easily look at the numbers of your Aldo and see when I have high output, I win the fight. When I have low output, I lose the fight. Simple as that. He wins on significant strikes with the 33-9 bantamweight division, UFC 315. Yeah, so we got to go with the legend in this one. Forget the crowd, forget all that. I understand that, Zahavi's got the Canadian crowd behind him, but you're dealing with a legend here. And I always say, don't invite Brazil to the party because they're going to come in and wreck it, right? If you're in Canada, fight someone other than a Brazilian, if possible. Jose Aldo's a guy that can stay around the game longer too, right? Yeah, he's 38, but the guy stays in tremendous shape. Is he slowing down? Of course he is. But in some of these fights, you can still win because you're smarter. You're a veteran. You've been around the game for a lot longer. And even though Zahabi's 12-2, I don't think he's going to hang with Jose Aldo. I could be wrong. We'll see. But that's just the way I see this thing going. Now, the next one, this is an absolute banger, right? For the title, got the legendary champ Valentina Shevchenko, who lost the belt, then got the belt back, has looked good despite getting older. And, she's starting to get into battles now. And this is another potential battle that is brewing with Manon Fiorot. And Shevchenko is someone I've always picked to win. But guess what? It's a new day. Anything is possible. That's why we do the predictions. You got to really think what happened last year or 6 months ago no longer applies to today. You got some new fighters coming up, but I still like Shevchenko, so we'll see. This is a tough prediction. Let's get into it right now. In the women's flyweight division for the women's flyweight division title here, UFC 315. Got a big one. Shevchenko, 24-4, takes on Manon Fiorot, the contender, who comes in at 12-1. Fiorot from France. She's 5'7", 2 inches taller than Shevchenko. She's 35, which seems to be the prime window for uh, really the prime, 35, 36 for the women. Shevchenko, 37. Shevchenko, 2-inch reach advantage. She fights left-handed. Fiorot fights right-handed. Fiorot doubles her up. 6.3 significant strikes per minute to 3.2. Fiorot can land like a takedown every 3 rounds. Shevchenko gets one every round. Shevchenko, 71% takedown defense. Fiorot, 93% takedown defense, which is why people believe she can win this fight. Shevchenko won the belt back from Alexa Grasso by decision, 8 takedowns to 1. So she got back to the game plan. That's where it's going to be interesting. In the previous fight, 4 takedowns to 1, but she lost by split decision and learned her lesson. Was relentless in the second fight. So that's where we stand with Shevchenko. Before that, everybody knows the history. She's for real. Long-time reigning champion before losing the belt and then getting it back. Fiorot beat Erin Blanchfield. Dominated on the feet 172 to 130. So when you hear that, that's the key, right? Is that she can strike. Now, Rose Namajunas outstruck her, but she still won. It was 60 to 58. So kind of, two different situations there. And if you're Fiorot, you cannot let Shevchenko dictate the pace of the fight, or you're going to lose. And you have to defend the takedowns at all costs. If Shevchenko can control 2 rounds of this fight, she'll outstrike Fiorot in one of the other 3 and win the fight. But I'm mixed on this one. On the other end, I think Fiorot is going to stop the takedowns. But I'm not sure that she's going to outstrike Shevchenko. She might get caught in a back and forth. So I'm leaning towards Fiorot, even though it's very close, because I think, she has the capability to do it. Whether she will or not, we're going to find out. I know Shevchenko's slowing down, but she's still the dominant champ. And she actually just fell out of the top 20 of the dude list, so it's hard to go against her, but I think this is Fiorot's time. I think Fiorot's going to win the fight. Wow. Can't remember the last time I've gone against Shevchenko, but I like Fiorot here to get the win, to move to 13-1. Takedown defense, double her up on significant strikes, or even time and a half, even like 70 to 100, something like that. Still wins the fight. So I think she gets the job done. And new, in my opinion, women's flyweight division. at UFC 315. Yeah, so even during the Grasso trilogy, I mean, I think I went with Shevchenko every time. It's hard. I don't know if there's been a time I've ever gone against Shevchenko. She was dominant for so long, ruled the division, still does. And think about what she did. You know, she gets beat by Grasso and comes back and then ends up getting the belt back and kind of shoving Grasso aside. So she's not done yet. And she's certainly within the window of, you know, the age, prime, all that. She's still within the window where she's not too old yet. She still could continue dominating for 2 years. But something tells me Manon Fiorot is going to come in and get the belt. Now, finally, we jump into or dive into the main event. And we did this prediction months and months and months ago, right? Because these fights come out months and months ahead of time, especially, you know, when they're coming out around the holiday break and right thereafter, we're getting way ahead on predictions at the beginning of the new year. So I know we did this prediction a long time ago. It's going to be a great fight. Jack Della Maddalena is not the guy we expected to fight Belal. But listen, sometimes guys get opportunities like this, and JDM's a good fighter. So where anything can happen. But Belal looked so good in the last fight. Could he really lose to JDM? We're going to find out. But let's jump into this pick right now. In the welterweight division for the welterweight division title at UFC 315, you're seeing this right. Belal Muhammad versus JDM, Jack Della Maddalena. And this has fans up in arms because Shavkat is not in the mix. But hold on for a minute because Muhammad is the champ. He's 24-3 from Palestine. Jack Della Maddalena from Australia. He's 17-2. So he's no slouch. Both guys 5'11". Bilal's 36, so he's slowly getting up there. JDM, 28 years old, still relatively young, just entering the prime window. So he's still got a long way to go in terms of hitting his prime, his peak performance. JDM's got a 1-inch reach advantage, 73-72. He's a switch stance fighter. Belal stands right-handed. JDM 6.7 significant strikes per minute to 4.4 for Belal. The takedown game is all Belal Muhammad and looked way better since joining with Team Khabib, right? In terms of training, that takedown game is even more of a problem than it ever has been before. Belal Muhammad, aka remember the name, 89% takedown defense, beat Leon Edwards with those 9 takedowns. I mean, that's crazy to win the belt. 68-47 on the feet, 9 takedowns to 2. He can just take away your strike game if you can't defend the takedowns. He also beat Gilbert Burns. No takedowns either way, 132-81 in significant strikes. But then you see all of a sudden he gets with Team Khabib and he's landed 9 takedowns. He beat Sean Brady, Vicente Luque, Stephen Thompson, Damian Maia. This is a guy, much like Charles Oliveira a few years ago, who hit his stride, right? You may look at the previous record and say, well, you know, he couldn't beat Leon the first time, had the no contest, lost to Jeff Neal, lost to Vicente Luque the first time, lost to Alan Jouban at the very beginning. But then he hit his stride, took the belt, riding a 6-fight win streak. JDM, 70% takedown defense, and boy, he's going to need all of that. KO'd Gilbert Burns in the 3rd round, despite Burns having 7 takedowns. So more on that in a second, because that's an important stat. JDM lost to Kevin Holland, or beat Kevin Holland by split decision, but trailed by 22 significant strikes in that fight. That's pretty wild. Beat Basil Hafez by split decision. Randy Brown submission. Danny Roberts he KO'd. And this guy hasn't lost in the UFC yet, winning 8 straight. But hold on a minute. JDM's going to be around for a while. And if you're sometimes guys like this capture the title because there's an opening. There's a window here. And you're talking about, you got Ian Gary in the mix, Shavkat Rakhmonov. These guys seemingly are going to be the future champs, right? If Shavkat gets the title, maybe JDM never wins it. But now the gates have opened. You get this opportunity on a silver platter. And this is a time when a guy like JDM has got to capture the title. But I don't think it's going to happen. As much as I like Jack Della Maddalena and would like to see him win, Belal Muhammad, since joining Team Khabib, is a whole different person. He's going to take those significant strikes from JDM and just wipe them out with control time and the takedown game. And we've discussed this before. It's much like a football team running out the fourth quarter, just running the ball. You got the lead. We're just going to run the ball, not give it back to you, and chew up this clock. And that's kind of the way Belal Muhammad looks right now. And, it might drive you crazy because there's not a lot of action. And he's got the head on the hip and he's taking you down and he's riding you and he's, you know, position over submission and all that stuff. But it works if you can't stop it. And I don't think JDM can, because you go back to that Gilbert Burns fight and he gave up 7 takedowns. Yeah, he still won. But Bilal's a different animal. And those skills are going to be a problem for JDM. I'm really interested in seeing how this plays out, but I got to lean towards Belal Muhammad to get the victory, both in the strike game, which he'll equalize, but really with the control time. We're looking at over 10 to 15 minutes of control time, 9 to 10 takedowns if necessary to win this fight. That's the bottom line. It's not going to be easy, but he's going to make it look easy on his way to getting the win here, retaining the belt, probably by decision, and moving to 25-3. And then we'll see Shavkat hopefully after that. But that all remains to be seen. We got to get to this fight first. Belal wins. Again, to move to 25-3 here, welterweight division, main event at UFC 315. Yeah, so it's just hard to see Belal losing this fight. I mean, again, with Team Khabib, this guy has looked incredible. There's no reason to believe he's going to lose this fight. Now, JDM is solid. The guy is solid. Does he deserve a title fight? I don't know, but he's getting it. And a guy like that's got to be saying to himself, I got to take advantage of this opportunity. I might never get it again. Because if you haven't noticed, this division is loaded. I mean, guys coming up like Shavkat Rakhmonov, Ian Machado Gary. I mean, the welterweight division is quickly consolidating at the top. The question is, how long can Belal hold on? And the way he looked in the last fight against Leon, he might be able to hold on for a while. I mean, some of these guys are really good, but Belal was on a different level. But there's guys coming for him. And Jack Della Maddalena is just the first one. In the post Usman, post Leon Edwards era. And then, of course, you got Usman taking on Joaquin Buckley coming up. So Buckley might be another guy coming up. So, I mean, you got all types of guys here. But the problem and Buckley's decent on the ground too with the ground and pound. But can he hang with like Shavkat and Ian Machado Gary? I don't know. But you definitely got guys coming up. So listen, we will be live this Saturday night for the watch party. Hopefully we're feeling a lot better than we were this past weekend. But it's a week away, so I'm sure we will be. For now, this is your boy Chris Cross. I hope you have a great day. And God bless, as always. Peace.